All right, guys. So, gonna add this as like one point B to the lesson plan, if you want to call it that. But this is gonna be another essential game mechanic that you need to focus on developing skill in for Tarkov if you want to get good. If you want to get good at PvP and shit, because in Tarkov, HIPFIRE is extremely strong. And it's actually called point firing in Tarkov because in Tarkov you hold the gun up in a ready position instead of firing from the hip. So the actual terminology is called point firing. I'll probably be using that to refer to it from now on. It's actually point shooting, but point firing, point shooting, whatever. Okay, so at any engagement range, 50 meters and below, depending on what gun you have, firing from the shoulder, point firing is superior. You have increased mobility, increased movement speed, as well as a quicker time to start getting hits on target because you usually start shooting first. There's less time and delay because you don't have to aim. So really, I mean, in any kind of CQC, CQB scenario, you really want hip fire game to be on point. I'm using every single terminology. Anyways, not the point. Let's get to the point. First of all, we're going to run the same kit as I ran last time. I was going to do something else, and then I realized that I could do this. So all you need to do is put on some sort of laser onto your gun. So we're going to do this. Perfect. I'm going to bring these big magazines that you might not have, just because for the sake of the lesson, I don't want to bother with running out of ammo and stuff. But the point of this exercise, unlike the 25-50% headshot one in the previous video, isn't to get a certain number of kills. It's to build the muscle memory to where hip firing, point firing becomes second nature. Okay. Just know that when I refer to firing, we're talking about that. Okay. Terminology is not important. All right. So, I'll put on the noob gear just so you guys don't think that it's only because I wear high level stuff that I'm able to do this. No excuses, boys. Okay. Beautiful. Alrighty, so you can load in factory again, enable offline, enable PvE, forward mode, and we'll keep it on AI difficulty as an online. Now, AI difficulty as an online is the only setting that I would recommend if you're doing specifically point firing training, because if you go any higher than that up to impossible, which is what we normally would train at, they actually have increased head HP and won't always die to one shot to the head, which is annoying because you don't know if you missed and you don't know if you hit. So we just want to have it as in online as a way to be consistent. But actually, before we do this, I forgot something. Let me show you guys some other stuff first that I used to do. So I actually learned about this from watching Glorious E, who I admired when I was trying to get better. He's a very skillful player. I'm sure all of you know about him. But one thing that he did is he also has a video where he details the aiming exercises that he would go into in his hideout, and I have myself adopted them. So for this exercise, for example, we're going to want to start with the laser, and we're going to want to quickly, as quick as we can, tap each head. And this kind of gives you an idea of where the laser is going to go. And then another thing you could do when you've done that is you can go like this, and you can practice trying to kind of put it up. This is much harder. Typically, this is something that you would do with an ADS. Oh, this gun handle's weird. It's something like that, and you want to go through and tap as much as you can, practice with the heads. But since this is a point shooting tutorial, we're going to focus on this for now. So I used to come through and I used to do this with like 4 or 5 magazines and go through it all once. Takes about 10 minutes, and then go into the factory. It does help. Okay, so we'll go into the factory. So all we're going to do now is we're going to focus on keeping the gun on single fire and not ADSing at all, but using only point shooting to handle scavs. We may need to put ourselves in good positioning to close the distance on these guys, depending on where they're at. But whatever we're going to do, we're going to try our best not to ADS. Okay, and we're gonna try to get at least 25 kills on this, but any number is fine, even more or less than that, because it's mostly about just getting the accuracy muscle memory built. Okay, so here we are, single fire, laser on. The laser allows you to have more accurate hip fire. It gives a passive bonus to accuracy. So you're going to want one on in the beginning, but later on when you get the hang of this, I'd advise you practicing without it as well. Make sure when you're walking around that you have proper crosshair placement. Keep it head level and, you know, like this, basically. You want to build the habit of having your gun pointed properly. Don't get lazy and go like this. Don't get lazy and be like this. So we're just gonna calmly head tap them as we come across them like this. And there's not too much to say about this besides showing you guys how to do it, but you're just gonna want to run through this one tapping all the scavs in the face and keep practicing at it until you can. But because there's not too much technique to show you guys, I'm gonna run through this a little bit quicker. So another quick tip there, you guys might have just seen that my laser was about here and then I swung it over to him. So what you can actually do when you're swinging a laser like that is, if you notice my beam, if I press A, it swings out to the right, and if I press D, it swings out to the left. The laser is going to sway opposite of whatever movement input you put into your PMC, including forward and back. So if we see there, if we press S, it's going to go up slightly. If we press W, it goes down slightly. So imagine that our enemy was over here and our laser was right here. If we were trying to move into cover, we could actually do this, where we move and shoot at the same time, and our natural barrel drift is going to bring the point of aim onto the person's head. And this can be something useful like this. Now imagine that you have a full auto gun, and in fact I'll show you just for example. So if you have a full auto gun and you're strafing back and forth, you can basically create a net of bullets that are going to cut off your enemy's head. Or they're going to hit them in their head heights. So, try to get used to using your movement to influence your aim point, but also keep in mind that that means that the most stable position for accurate fire is being completely still. I think they're stuck upstairs. Wow, graceful. Thought that was a guy. If they see you, then change angles and practice getting in the habit of repositioning. Gonna want to close the distance on this one, regardless of where he's at. That's a little bit far to be hip firing. Oh shit. Oh. There we go. Alright, so say that you got the hang of this. Now you're going to want to practice without the laser, which presents its own series of challenges, such as the fact that you're now less accurate by design. However, if you still have a good sense of the aim point, it really doesn't matter all that too much. The reason we're staying in single fire is not only for ammo conservation, but to not allow the game to help us out and make things easier on us by, you know, recoiling itself into their head. You want to practice on being precise and getting that first shot hit directly into the dome. If you can master this skill to the point where I'm at, then you too will experience the things that I enjoy, such as instantly killing people when they surprise you by just clicking on them, basically. Okay, well, I think that's enough of an example. You would want to just run through this, doing it just like that over and over again until you could essentially do what you saw me do there. And let's take a look at how many scabs we got. So in this exercise, I killed 25, 28, and I had 21 headshots. So there's a benchmark for you guys to reference. All right. Well, best of luck, guys. I would say that this is just as important as mastering killing in general. You want your hipfire to be as strong as your aim overall. So put some work into it, guys, and you'll see the benefits. All right. Good luck in your raids, guys. Catch you next time.